Hey, what's going on, guys? So I want to talk about something that's been kind of really starting to really get in my way gaming-wise this year, and that is the fact that this is probably the worst, best year for games ever. Now, what do I mean by that? The last couple years, we've had so many delays and so many things pushing that we've been kind of scraping by to get some good games. I mean, there has been some great games over the last few years, but you gotta admit, the start of this console generation has been a little bit weak. But this year is stacked, and at first I was just blown away by just how happy I was. This is how happy I'm gonna be, right? I mean, great games are coming down the pipeline all the time. At first it was pretty great, pretty good, and then it just got, more and more and more overwhelming. I mean, there has just been so many good games. I mean, Game of the Year, I have no idea what's even going to happen with that this year, but I'm just going to kind of run through my personal experience this year with games and how it's just, the backlog has just gone beyond my control. I'm also going to go over games that are supposedly coming out later in the year, at least officially announced, and there's more that aren't even going to be on this list, but I think by the end of this, you'll see that this year is awesome for games, but maybe a little bit bad for gamers. Now, we're going to start humbly enough with January. January was easy peasy. I had some games I was finishing up from last year. Sonic Frontiers I was still kind of deep into. I think at that time I was still finishing Callisto Protocol. Then the Dead Space remake came out, and I really wanted to sit down and enjoy that game. So I finished up what I was wrapping up from last year, so I'm not too far behind at this point. Jump into Dead Space, have a wonderful time. I mean, if you are a Dead Space fan, that is the premier way to play the game. But at the same time, 007 was released for like every console. So I had a couple nights, and granted this isn't a big time sink, but a couple nights where I had friends over, we're all playing 007, and time that I would have probably spent on Dead Space ended up being 007 time, which is fine. But like I said, January isn't really too big a deal. It starts really snowballing really heavy starting with February. Now, February was a little bit rough, right? So, right now we're coming off the heels of Dead Space, just finishing that up, and then the Metroid Prime remaster kind of comes out of nowhere, and everyone grabs it up real quick. But at the same time, you get Hogwarts Legacy coming out, and that game is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is the beginning of the end for me, because the Hogwarts Legacy came out. I have not finished that game. It is now almost July, and I have not finished that game because of what comes next. And that is the fact that the same month that Hogwarts Legacy comes out, there's also Metroid Prime Remaster. There is Octopath Traveler 2, and that game is just a massive RPG. I mean, there's so much to do in that game. Granted, of course, you could speedrun it or whatever, but, you don't do that on your first try, right? So now I have two huge RPGs, Metroid Prime Remaster. I've got Metroid Prime Remaster. I haven't even played it yet. Because I'm trying to play Hogwarts, and now I'm trying to play Octopath hand in hand, and guess what? Spoiler, I don't finish either of them. And I just have to get back to them, right? But man, we're looking at the end of the month here. Octopath has come out like on the 20-something or other, and next thing you know, it's March. And March is not much better. A little bit of breathing room here, because really, like I said, this is just a list of games I'm playing. There's way more games that have come out, but the list of games I'm playing, we start off with Wolong, which comes out free on Game Pass, and my neighbors and I are all into it, so we kind of stop everything we're playing and play that for a while, because that game is really cool, really fun for co-op. And at the same time, we're kind of wrapping up Wolong. It's like, okay, let's go back and hit Hogwarts and see what's going on. Then the Resident Evil 4 remake drops, and I don't have time anymore. What am I gonna? I have to play this game, right? I can't be behind on this one. This is the game that's like everyone's talking about. Hogwarts is already kind of gone, so that's why it's still on the back burner. I jumped straight into Resident Evil, but at the same time, I'm a busy guy. I got work. I have my life. Got to mow the lawn. Got to do all sorts of stuff. So I'm now halfway into Resident Evil 4 in March, and then April happens. And April is maybe the worst month that could have possibly happened video game wise for me and my time. So April for me has 4 huge games, and 2 of them are so massive that I can't even fathom climbing them. And then the other 2, I haven't even got to start yet. So the first one is the Mega Man Battle Network collection. I am such a huge Mega Man Battle Network fan that I stop everything I'm doing. I stop playing Resident Evil. I stop everything, and I go straight into that. The first thing I do is put 20 some odd hours into the first game, completely 100%ing it, and I'm like, okay, I need to keep this going. I want to play through all of them. And I can't even do that. One of my favorite game series is, and I can't even do that because right off the heels is the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster for the Switch, all 6 games. And now I'm like, okay, what am I doing here? Am I going to start from the beginning and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Do I just play my favorite one, 4, and leave it at that? Come back to 6, then maybe hit 5 and maybe the other 3 if I care? It's such a hard decision, right? And I'm still want to go back to Battle Network. And what am I to do? Haven't finished Hogwarts. Haven't finished Resident Evil. Haven't finished Octopath. I'm 1 game out of 6 or 10 if you count both versions on Battle Network. And now the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster comes out. And I'm like, what in the world am I going to do here? And at the same time, Star Wars Jedi Survivors comes out. What? I mean, that is another massive game, another huge, 40, 50 hour game. And there's just no breathing room. I mean, you go to work all day, you come home, you eat dinner, you spend some time with the family, and you're like, man, I have 1 hour, 2 hours to dedicate to a game. What am I gonna play? God if I know. I mean, and that's not even the only game. There's still Advanced Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp. I haven't even turned that on. I didn't even buy it. I haven't even bought it yet because I knew that I wasn't gonna have time. After I realized when I got to Mega Man Battle Network 2 and Advanced Wars came out, I was like, well, what am I gonna do? This is it. This is the end of this month. And gosh. So I'm so far behind right now, and I really want to play these games. I really want to experience these games, and the hits just keep on coming. We jump into May. May has a huge list of games that have come out, a lot of good ones. I get 1 game. Everyone got this game. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. What more do I have to say? How many hours can you put in this game? 100? 200? You want to collect everything? 300? I have personally put in 40 or 50. I'm nowhere into that game. I haven't beaten any dungeons. Not one. Not a dungeon. I have gone through and explored the lands, done shrines, gotten swords, scanned amiibo. I've not beaten 1 dungeon in that game. And that's now. The game came out in May. It's the end of June. Not to mention, never ended up going back to Battle Network. I ended up not figuring out what I was going to do with Final Fantasy, having an existential crisis, so I just stopped. I was like, I'll just put it on the shelf and I'll come back to it. I will come back to 4 at least this year. But Zelda just, oh my god, took over. I mean, I bought the OLED, I bought the controller, I'm all in. I'm taking work trips and bringing it with me. And my god, I just have no time for any of those other games. Zelda's just like all-encompassing. May is huge. But then June happens. And June is crazy ridiculous. Starts off with Street Fighter 6. I played the demo, half interested in the game. I had ended up passing on it because I'm like, I don't have time. The Katamari re-roll comes out. I get it because I had pre-ordered it, God, whenever it was announced last year. Played like a level or 2. I was like, man, I really want to get back into this game. But that's all I have time for. I still have Zelda going on. I don't have time to really jump into anything of that nature. Then Diablo 4 comes out. I opted to pass on it. I want to play it. I loved the beta. You can see where now the snowball has turned into an avalanche. Diablo 4, a lot of my friends are playing it. It looks awesome. It seems so fun. But I have zero capacity for time. Then comes last week where I totally forgot that it came in the mail. Sonic Origins Plus, which I pop in and I've maybe played with some friends for like maybe 2 or 3 hours just doing some boss rush and stuff. I'm like, man, this is great. But I need to throw this immediately on the shelf because Final Fantasy 16 has come out, and that game is now all-encompassing. I've literally put everything on hold. I'm now playing Final Fantasy 16. I cannot do what I have done with the other games and friggin' stop this one. I have to sit through and play this one all the way, which means that now we're talking about the future, right? So making this video, it is before July. Now we're going to be talking about July on. And so I'm going to be talking about the games that interest me, but God knows if I'm going to have any time at all to play them. But here we go. Let's start with July. July starts a little tiny break, a small break before the massive craziness that's going to be the rest of the year. July, mainly for me, has Pikmin 4, which seems very interesting. The thing that's going to stink about Pikmin 4, just like all these games, it's probably a good 30-40 hour game, which who knows if I'm going to have time for it. But July might be my breathing room, my little bit of space where I can, kind of sort this out. I don't know. But then August comes in, and August for me is going to be like indie game destruction. Starts off with Vampire Survivors on the Switch. I love Vampire Survivors, and the Switch is going to have 4-player local co-op, so obviously I have to play that game. Obviously I'm going to be into that game. That game is kind of a grindy game, so it's not like something I'll be able to just play for a short amount of time. I mean, the average level is literally 30 minutes. There's a 30-minute timer. But then that Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, sorry, the name slipped my mind, comes out, and I have been so interested in this game because it's like the next spiritual successor of Jet Set Radio Future, one of my favorite games of all time. And now all of a sudden I have to fit that into the schedule, not to mention all the games I previously have said I haven't finished, and I need to finish Final Fantasy 16. Then with all that, Blasphemous 2 comes out, and Blasphemous 2 is going to be friggin' awesome. Have you ever played Blasphemous 1? It's just gonna be more of that, and that game was like phenomenal. I have no idea what's going on. And then Sea of Stars is coming out, and that is gonna be another like indie RPG that's it's based on kind of like a Chrono Trigger-y kind of vibe. The demo's out. I haven't even had time to play the demo. I've been wanting to check it out, but I know I've been excited for this game. And if I'm thinking Chrono Trigger style RPG, what's that? Another 60-hour game? With all of the time I have, that's going to make a lot of sense. But all those indie darlings aside, we have neglected the fact that August is home to Armored Core 6. Armored Core 6. That game looks so amazing. I feel like it's going to be like a Final Fantasy 16 where I pop it in and what am I going to do? I'm going to have to stop everything I'm playing and play this game to its completion. I have no idea what's going to happen. That's what I feel is going to happen. And, now we're in the middle of August, end of August, and my backlog has ever grown. And then September comes up. September is going to be the largest stumbling point for me, I think, this year. I'm going to name the 3 games that are going to take my time, and then the last game, which comes out first, which is really going to take my time. And the 3 games I'm really interested in checking out are Lies of P. That looks really cool. It's going to be on Game Pass. The Baten Kratos 1 and 2 remaster. I've never known how to say those games, but I've been really wanting to check those out. I've ordered the physical copy from Play Asia. Those are both long RPGs, so I mean, is that going to be something where I actually sit down and play them, or is that going to be something that goes on the shelf and I need to figure out later in life? I don't know. Mortal Kombat 1 comes out. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Is it going to be like Street Fighter where I end up kind of begrudgingly passing just because I have no time? I'm not sure. But all that aside, doesn't matter. Starfield comes out. Starfield, if it's anything like what happened with me and Skyrim, is going to consume my life. When Skyrim came out back when I was in college, back in 2012 or 2011, that game just took over. I mean, it was just done. I was done. You couldn't touch me forever. And with all the backlog I'm already gonna have this year, all of a sudden you're throwing on Starfield. I'm done. Game over. Game over. I mean, I am going to be the Dreadbeard Space Pirate Dreadbeard. I'm gonna make the Outlaw Star. I'm going to go through space and steal everything and destroy everything, and I will be the most evil mother on this planet, in space, in the galaxy. I can't wait. Dreadbeard 2023. Better watch out. You're lucky this game does not have multiplayer, because I will be capturing your ass. But no, I mean, it's done. It's game over from there. But there's still 3 more months. 3 more months. What am I gonna do? When October comes, October's gonna be wild. We have Alan Wake 2. I loved Alan Wake 1. I know Alan Wake 2 has this whole physical, digital debacle, but I'm gonna want to play this game. It's gonna be really cool. Super Mario Wonder comes out. Like, this game is like, yo, let's go get high on mushrooms for real. So, like, oh my god, that's gonna be super, super neat. The Metal Gear Solid collection comes out. I don't even know where to start there. I mean, I'm gonna have to get it, but like, each one of those games is hours long. I mean, you can't start them or finish them. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Don't even know what I'm gonna do. I have no idea how to handle that game. But then after all of that, Spider-Man 2, another what, 60, 80 hour game? I mean, I have no idea. No one has any idea. It's just gonna be massive. On top of everything I've talked about so far. Now you have Spider-Man 2, another presumably Game of the Year contender. You got Starfield, Zelda, Spider-Man 2, Octopath Traveler 2. I mean, all these huge, huge, massive games I've talked about are all contenders for Game of the Year. Have no idea who got Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, how do you even do it? How do you even do it? I forgot what month it comes out. I might have already passed it. I totally forgot the Cyberpunk, which that game is fixed now. It's awesome. The Cyberpunk DLC comes out. That's going to be huge. That's going to be a massive expansion for Cyberpunk 2077. And all that before November. And November might have me one of the most hyped I will be this year. November has Star Ocean Second Story R, which I am beyond looking forward to. It has WarioWare Move It, which I love the WarioWare games, and WarioWare Shake It on the Wii is one of the best party games I have ever played in my life. And I'm gonna get this game, and I'm gonna have friends over, and we're gonna play the hell out of it. But all that doesn't matter. None of that matters, because this month represents another month that will be a stop everything I'm doing and switch to this game. Stop whatever I'm playing, doesn't matter if I finished it or not, because that's when the Mario RPG remake comes out. And that is a game I played in my childhood, like many of you, I'm sure. And those of you who have never played Super Mario RPG, you are in for a treat. I am very curious to see if, what kind of remake is this? I mean, I know it's a remake of graphically, and all the mechanics seem there. Like, are they going to have the secret Culex boss? Are they going to add something? What are they going to do? I have no idea. All the references going to be there. The Samus, like in bed Link stuff. I mean, I have no idea, but that game is just going to be it. I'm going to tell you what, for looking up stuff for this video, I stopped there. I couldn't even look at December. I was like, what's the point? I don't know what's coming out in December, but I know that at that point, I'm already done. I'm already done now. I'm already done, and I can't help it. So I know this has been a little bit of a rant, but this is truly the best year for video games. Every month there is bangers, and this is just the stuff is on my radar that I'm interested in. I'm not even talking about so many other games that I, haven't even talked about, haven't even thought about. And there's even stuff that's hasn't been announced with like proper dates yet that could fall in this year. It's insane. Like, anyone who's had a backlog, this year has made that backlog worse. But enough of my rambling. Let me know what you guys think below. Like, what have you been doing? What have you been playing? How have you been handling this crazy influx of awesome games? I mean, I'm super thankful. Like, this is a good problem to have, but whoa. This sounds kind of crazy. In Dragon Ball Z, when, like, they need to train, like, hardcore, and they go in, like, the hyperbolic time chamber for, like, a year and get, like, swole as hell. Like, I wish I had a time chamber like that just to catch up on these video games, because I'm telling you, There's so much stuff, so many cool stories, so many cool games, and I personally just do not have the time. But like I said, let me know down below what y'all are playing, how you are handling this backlog fatigue, what you're looking forward to. I mean, did anything I named jump out at you as something you're either currently playing or the future games? If it's something you're coming out with, I want to know, because I'm telling you, this year is absolute chaos. Hey, thanks for sticking around in this extra long video, but, you know, if you haven't subscribed, please do. That would be awesome. Thank you for coming by, and as always, my friends, take it easy.